All right, we're live, I think. I'm just going to quickly check my phone just to make sure that everything is working. Just hanging tight with me. All right, we're good. And the sound? Yeah. All right. So welcome, goddesses. Thank you for being here. Thank you for connecting with us. And Gila's here in the back room. And I will just welcome everyone and set the tone for this interview, and then I'll go ahead and bring her on. So if you're here or if you're catching the replay, just go ahead and find yourself a comfortable seat, maybe get a cup of tea or a glass of water. We'll go for about a half an hour here. And just feel into your body, maybe make any stretches or movements that you feel like in this moment. Setting the intention to open your heart to receive whatever it is that you're needing to receive in these moments. So closing your eyes, and let's just take 3 deep breaths together. So inhaling into the belly, to the ribs, into the chest, feeling the whole spine extend. And exhale, relax the shoulders, hips, and knees. Relax your face, soften the skin. Inhaling, extending, and filling up. And exhaling, relaxing, sending a grounding cord down into the center of the earth. One more breath. Inhale, lengthening and opening the crown of your head up towards the cosmos. And exhaling from the heart. Welcome into this temple space, this online temple. Thank you, women, for being here. We're 1,500 women from all over the world. And now I'm going to welcome in Gila. Hello, dear.
Hello, thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. So I'm Ashley Sunshine, and this is Gila Nehemia, and she is an amazing sacred erotic poet. She found her zone of genius, which is to write, and she recently published a book. And she has a few offerings, courses, mentorship. She's an amazing powerhouse woman in the voice of sacred eroticism. So thank you so much for being here, Gila. And I'd love for you just to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your journey. What brought you to being a sacred erotic poet?
Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, it was quite a journey. I guess like many empathic light workers, sensitive souls, starseeds possibly that are in your audience, I had a very tumultuous journey coming into this space. I actually came from a South Asian background, and I was a very quiet child, pretty shy. I always felt like I couldn't speak most of my life, very, very withdrawn, though I loved dancing. You know, I heard about this actually. People that love to dance are usually they have a lot of hidden things inside. You know, that's why they move their body, you know, to allow it to release. But I used to love to dance and sing, and I always loved writing. My father actually promoted writing all of the time, and it was just really, and then I got involved in a domestic violence situation with my late husband for many years. I was in that, and that was very challenging for me. And when he passed away, he was Israeli. That's I met Ashley in Israel, and we came here after he passed with my children. And then I had this awakening, this spiritual and sexual awakening. I finally realized, I saw the pattern. I realized that the patterns that were happening in my life, and I realized I didn't want to have that anymore. I wanted them to stop. Made a conscious decision. I used to drink and smoke a lot, and to numb myself, and all those things that I think most people are familiar with. And even though I did grow up on yoga and, all sorts of things like that, I left everything to the wayside. And I decided to love myself. I said, okay, the only way I'm going to get what I really desire is it's inside of me. So that became my transformational journey. And I met another divine soul who, had a Kundalini awakening, which is my poetry book that's coming out in a couple of weeks. And I never wrote actually any poetry. I was a writer all the time. I studied writing in college, and I've written prolifically, but not poetry. So it's the creative genius. When we open up our womb space, our sacral chakra, that's our creativity. So I was able to connect to that creative life force energy. And it wasn't intentional. It was just, a barrage of emotions that I didn't have any other way to express. And I think that's where creativity lies. When, normal conversation, we can talk for hours and I may not be able to express what I'd like to really say. But if you see a painting, if you see poetry, you hear music, you go into the world of the person writing it. So that is
I just want
what
to
happened.
highlight some gems that you said. The creativity is this overflowing of emotion, and having a way to channel that. And I think so many of us, especially as women, we experience overloading of emotions and sometimes get ourselves into habits of maybe oversharing or feeling like a burden to others, even if we're not. And having that creative channel for all of us is so powerful. And I loved what else you said about the only way to get what you truly desire is through yourself. And just wanted to pause on that for a moment and just really let that sink into whoever's here with us, to just know that whatever you desire, you're the one that has the power to get that. And it lies within you, that potential. Thank you. So sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to.
No, totally fine. Totally fine. I think also what I'd like to share in this group of goddesses is that I followed the divine feminine way. I went to a divine feminine mentor to follow the 13 moons. And even for my business, when I first started over 3 years ago, I birthed it in a sacred circle and became a certified sacred circle facilitator. So, it was all, and even now it's like until, now February to March, that's when we can birth what we've been dreaming. It doesn't have to be in the beginning of the year. It's just like this more of a flowing, allowing, receiving, surrendering way.
Yes. Wow, the 13 moons, I know them, and that's amazing that you got a chance to work with them. Incredible. I would love to as well. Gabrielle is here, and she says hello, and she's happy to be here with us, and a few other sisters are here. So if you are here, go ahead and say hello, give us a shout out. And if any questions come up for you guys during this live, please feel free to ask, and it'll be fun to jam with you. Great. So yeah, tell us more about this sexual empowerment. So feeling, your sacral chakra opening, this bursts of creativity that you were able to channel into writing and speaking and sharing. Tell us more about, that journey of going into sexuality specifically.
That's a great question. And I think that it's still really, to be honest, I'll tell you a little bit about a story. I feel like it's still really a taboo, but a little bit less so than when I first started. So it was, it's getting better. It's really like tapping into, for me, that's how it started, just tapping into my erotic desires and not allowing societal constructs to stop me, even though obviously my ego mind would, somehow I would get doubts, but I just went with it. And I realized that wow, things happen, like manifestations happen, and I even took a course on orgasmic manifestation. And I realized since I was 8, I was actually doing it, like it's not just orgasm with your partner, it's orgasm alone, orgasm when you're eating, orgasm when you're just like hanging out in nature. I mean, we can get high on ourselves. And
Yes.
it's the best, and it's also really important about the self-love, right? Nobody else can make us happy. As much as we might love our partners or our current partner, or maybe looking into a future partner, to look for them to make you happy, you're always going to be unhappy. No one can ever reach your expectations. And when we can totally find the pleasure in our everyday life, I also follow Eckhart Tolle. Being in the present moment is totally important. But going back into sexuality, I think that that's the root of it. What is the desire, coming from deep in the womb space? And I've been very physical all my life. I enjoy sex. I've always enjoyed sex, but how can I go deeper? And that actually, like, it was a Kundalini awakening for me. All of my chakras started to open, and it was just going deeper into that because I've had so many challenges in my life, and so many things that I said no to. Even I had possibilities of better relationships. I didn't decide to choose them. And I think part of that is this comfortability of feeling, I don't know how to say this nicely, but, of kind of feeling the victim. Like victimizing yourself and being in that comfort zone instead of stretching into different possibilities, for whatever, family's sake or anything. But when I followed the desire, and it happened to be sexual desire, but as I said earlier, it moved into other parts of my life. It was tapping into my own body all the time. How do I feel? Not do I feel like wet, but do I feel good? Does it make me feel excited? Am I constricting my body? I totally got into the body. And that helped to ground me and ground also my intuition. So it connected me to my intuition and my heart space. That's why I feel it's so important. It's not just about the sexuality. It's about connecting the chakras from the sacral chakra up into the higher chakras.
Yes, wow. And that I love what you said about, really getting into the body and letting your body tell you what's accurate for you or what's not, because of the pleasure, because of the joy in things. And if we literally follow our joy, we follow our pleasure, we align ourselves to the path that our souls are the most happy on, that their souls are gonna be a genius on. Wow.
Yes. I was just in my live. I was just talking about. I don't know if you probably read her, Cliss or Pinkola Estes.
Yes. Amazing.
This book, totally changed my life. Really helped me to connect into my intuition. And she talks about, following the soul, like leaving the house if you feel like it. That wildish soul, she says, and I just love that.
Yeah. It's amazing. Just following your heart. And it's so different than what is taught to us kind of by the patriarchy or by the system. Like, we're supposed to choose one path and go with that path until the day we die or until we retire. And then we can have fun, right?
Right.
It's so silly because we are organic in nature, and we're supposed to change, and we're supposed to flow. And how do we know what should we do? It's not from some idea out there. It's from, I love what you're speaking to. And this work is so important right now, especially to initiate kind of the next generation into what do we do in this new world when everything is changing, and who do we trust anymore? We need to trust ourselves.
Yes, exactly. And I would also want to say, like, I have kids. So if anyone's watching who has kids, or you want to have kids, the more that you work on yourself, you give yourself pleasure, you're going to show, not even even just anyone you connect to, they're going to just see that in you. They're going to see that energy. So you're right. Pleasure is so important. How do we find pleasure in anything? It's totally possible.
Give us an example. How do you find pleasure in anything?
Food is easy, but we could even say let's just even take an example of a bad day. You're having a bad day, and it just things didn't go the way you planned. Like everything just didn't went quite sort of awry. And I would just even today, I actually had some situations, and I just took a breath. I decided to rest. I did some self-care. I cried. Release it and allow it. And I would take, drink a cup of tea, do things for me and know that everything's okay. Because as long as I can find my own center, I don't have to be in the noise of any kind of drama. I actually don't even have to respond to whatever it is that's happening.
Oof, oof. It's like
And
slowing down. Just
right.
the simple act of slowing down can bring that pleasure into our day. And slowing down, then we can start to notice the details, and even just taking a breath, like our breath can be pleasurable.
Exactly. I love that you said that, because a lot of the things that I was learning in the Divine Feminine way, even the mentor I had, she would sometimes just pause, like we'd be in silence. Like this. She wouldn't say anything. And I'd be like, well, should I be saying something? And she would just like, just in the pauses, there's so much that's not said that's understood.
Wow. It's like the empty presence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. Thank you for bringing that. It's so important. So that empty presence is one of the essences of the divine feminine, and it's one of the essences that we've been so missing. Just like feel the magic just as it is. Woo!
Totally. I want to say something about that, because I think that many of us, myself definitely included, I was going totally with my logical mind. I had my master's, whatever. I went on this teaching path. I did all these things, went to high tech for a while, and even here in Israel. And I just kind of left everything. I didn't even know where I was going, and that's part of the divine feminine. We don't know, but you're here, you can see it inside. You don't have to see it with your eyes. And even if things are chaotic in the physical world and you think that this is not happening, the business is not happening yet, right? It's not going yet, but it will.
Yes.
And that is so important. I know that you work on business, and that has been really important for my business too, to help myself to take a breath and not judge myself harshly.
Yeah. Amazing. It's all in here. Like, yes. Okay. So I want to ask you more about business and how getting connected to our sacred sexuality can help us in our business. Sacred eroticism, as you speak about. And then I would love for you to share with us a piece of yours.
Oh, thank you. Of course I will.
Okay, amazing. Thank you.
So, the sacral chakra, is the seat of love and money. So actually, if you're having any challenges in either of those, or even both of those, it's again connecting to healing in the womb space. So I did a lot of healing in the womb space. I was following a lot of feminine mentors, and I would go on retreats. And there's a yoni egg I actually use. That's a tachionized yoni egg that heals in the womb space. And so all of these things, why do I bring it up? Because the more that we let go and allow that to get into the darkness, the watery space, it also allows us to birth the new. So it's like we're moving through the birth canal, if you think of it visually, this is our business. This is our vision. We can't see it yet, like a baby. We're still in the creative phases, and we might see light, as if a baby's coming out. Sometimes you might hear or you might feel it, like, I gave birth, so I know I felt it, but they weren't out yet. you know, you're still pushing, you're still contracting, or even sex, like you're still in that, you're in the beginning phases and you're still not ready yet, so give yourself time. I want to share that. This is both for sexuality and your business. Give yourself time. Time is actually on your side. The more time you spend with someone, even if it's just the intimacy, and think about that with your business, the more time you spend with a client, the better you get to know them, the more you're going to deliver for them, and the more that you're going to connect to your own offering. You know how long it took me to find my niche, like exactly what, and I'm still developing it. So it's an ongoing process, and it's the same with sexuality and your own sexuality. Forget about the partner. What do you want? What do you desire? Forget about what he or she or whatever the gender of the person is.
Yeah.
You.
Yes. It's like really, wow, I love that so much. And the path of the feminine is spiral. It's not linear. So we don't think we need to be like, okay, I need to get sexually awakened now so that I can run my business like a woman, like, no, it's a spiral path where we really have to trust ourselves. And every small step is a milestone. Like yeah, and it's like really embracing that and celebrating all of those steps on the way. And just before you continue, I just want to say, I don't know, I missed it, but there's lots of comments.
Oh, cool. Great.
Wait, let me see. So, hi, Daphna's here. Tara's here. She said, everything in these moments have deeply resonated with me. I needed to hear this. Thank you. And aho to getting high on yourself. Amazing. And Eleanor is here, and she asked, how can I connect to my feelings and heart and body in a relationship? You want to answer that?
What I would suggest is to always connect to your heart space. Relationships are always challenging, though it doesn't have to be. Because sometimes I know I used to question, does this person care for me? All of these things, my own doubts of my own mind, doesn't necessarily have to even do with the person. So I would actually say the more that you heal the heart, it's something that I do the mentoring for that. But the more that you heal your heart space, and, we're mirrors. Everyone's a mirror for us. So if there's something that's coming up, a trigger that's happening, you're in your current relationship, there's something more that you might need to heal. To really accept, receive, and surrender to the love that you're desiring. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but I'd invite you into that space.
Yeah, let us know, Eleanor, if that resonates and if that helps. She said she really wants babies and kids.
Well, so it's yours.
Yeah. And then Tara said, bad moments don't have to take the whole day. We can create good day no matter what. We have the tools. Drink in your breath. So rejuvenating and important. And Gabby is saying beautiful. Thank you, ladies, for being here with us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, keep it coming if you have more questions or anything.
Definitely.
All right, so sexuality, let me just like summarize or reflect and see if I got it. So sexuality and business, it's like trusting your desires. So as we connect into our sexuality and into our sacral chakra, we start to understand what it is that we really want, and we listen in to the emotions that are happening, and then find healthy ways to channel them. And then trusting that, and trusting our path, and trusting our desires. And if I love that you shared that you were kind of on the corporate path and just like got out of it because well, that's not my truth anymore. That's not what I truly desire, because I'm listening to myself now. And I think that I really resonate with that in terms of business as well, because I think the divine feminine approach to business is really being yourself, like being radically yourself. And that means that you're not trying to please anyone, or you're not trying to, package yourself. You're being the organic, thing that you are. And that naturally by itself is like the womb, like a magnet.
Yes, yes. I love that you said that. I love that. Because it is really important right now, even I think, especially as a sovereign being, standing on your own, speaking your truth from your, all of your chakras. You're right, it's magnetizing. That's the magnetizing part of it. It's not anything else that you're learning, even though those things might be important. It's
Right.
connecting to you.
Yes. Oh, that's such a medicine.
Yes,
And
that's great.
Eleanor said thank you for the answer to her question.
Oh, fantastic. Great.
Yes. Amazing. Okay. Is there anything else you want to say? Are you ready to read us a poem?
Yeah, I'm ready to read a poem.
Okay.
I think you guys might like this.
Okay.
So it's entitled Loving Me. Moved my sexy hips to the beat of the earthy vibrations. Allured me to that fertile place where only the trees, earth, and sky sensuously caress me. Only me and the music, the sounds of nature, winds rustle the grass, light rain, wolves howling, the drumbeats in the distance, gyrated in the midst of tall green grass and a refreshing breeze cooling off the heat of my body. Made love to myself, fondled my taut bare breasts, ran my delicate fingers down my stomach and legs gently, lovingly, stroked my hair sensuously as I closed my eyes to savor the feeling, circled my clit gently as my 2 fingers went inside my pussy. It felt lascivious, euphoric to touch my delicious, yummy body under the turquoise sky. Vulnerable, naked, affectionate, true, and safe. Enjoy the feeling of being free, lovable, and so very divine. Realize it's all about loving me every day, every minute, all the time. Everything else comes second.
Wow. Thank you for that. It felt like a hit of self-love and a hit of just that life is good. Life is sweet.
Great. Wonderful. I'm glad.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And great. So it's been amazing speaking to you. I love it. And Daphne said that your poem was epic.
Thank you.
This has been so much fun. I would really love to do this again. So let's plan on doing it again.
Yes.
Amazing. And meanwhile, until we meet again, I'd love for you to share with the women what you're offering and how you work with people and about your new book. Tell us where we can find you.
Great. Yeah, you can find me at gilanehemia.com, just my name. And I mentor women. I have a group program. I do personal one-on-one mentoring. And I just announced just about a month ago a new course on self-pleasure. It's called Words of Seduction. So actually intertwine words and body wisdom. I did a whole series on body wisdom in YouTube. You can find me on YouTube as well for 21 days. And I integrate that into the course. It's highly reflective, a lot of writing. And the first part of it is self-pleasure and body wisdom. The second part is actually about expressing your desires. What I found by working with a lot of clients, especially chronic trauma, which is the primary focus of my clients, is the throat chakra is very blocked, as it was for me. So it's allowing yourself to open, especially in sexuality, in romantic partnerships. To be a little bit graphic, sometimes when we're having sex, we don't want to open our mouths, but that's actually the connection, to the entire experience. So that's where I'm kind of going with that. And the book, it's a Kundalini Awakening Poetry. It's called Surreal Love. It's going to be in online bookstores, and it'll be available also as a paperback in Book Depository and other places. So that is, it's a collection of nature, erotic, and self-love poetry, as well as spiritual poetry. So it's really a combination, because the crux of my work is actually about ascension, sacred sexuality and ascension. So that is really my offering, but I use writing of myself, and I also encourage all of my clients, if you're writers, you'll definitely enjoy working with me, because we release the old stories and we come into the new story. And I'm working with my clients to help them publish their stories, because I find that it's very healing to write and then share, because other people heal by reading. So a little bit about some of my offerings.
Amazing. Wow, that book sounds incredible. I'm so happy for you that you publishing a book. Like, that's epic. Celebrate you big time.
Thank you. And one thing I want to say about that, the self-publishing process, I just encourage it for people, because it's been very creative for me. I found the right art, my person I met in Amirim, she's doing like an ad with me. She's a videographer. I mean, it's just like when you want to do it from, just like we talked about, when we're a creative life force energy opens, like we just magnetize the things that we're really desiring. And it took me over a year to do this. I've been writing these poems for 3 years, and I wanted to do it last year. It didn't quite happen, but this was the right time. So I encourage everybody to, if that's what their dream is, it's definitely happening. Connect with me. I'll help you to do it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Daphna asked if we can share your link to the page. So if you would just share it to the comments after we're finished,
Of course.
that would be awesome. And that is a wrap. Thank you so much for this high vibe priestess conversation.
Yes.
So much love and so much light. And thank you so much for the work that you're doing in this world.
Thank you.
Important.
Thank you for doing the work that you're doing. So very, very important to help us to share our light with others.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.